Welcome back to Mike Wood Music. This is Tim Wood, oldest son of Mike Wood. Here to dive a little bit deeper into a song called Lady in Waiting. I've been featuring this song this week on Up on Jackson Street. You can see it's the second song on the Up on Jackson Street CD. And if you've been following along with some of the posts I've been putting out there, you would know that it's a song about my grandma and granddad, Anna and Harley, who was my dad's parents, and their journey from the Depression era till to the point that they passed away. I'm here to give you a little bit more insight. As a song kind of mentions, my dad was the second youngest of seven kids, and so he had been writing songs for me and my brother and my sister when we were younger, when we got married. I'll get into that when we get to some of those songs later this year. He wrote a song for my mom called Here Within, and we'll talk about that later this year. So he felt like he wanted to talk a little bit about his upbringing. He grew up in Sioux City, Iowa, and then he migrated to Columbus when he was in high school. But there's a couple stories I want to share with you, which I thought were interesting. Number one is, and I was talking to Dad here before he passed away about some stories, and my granddad played banjo and he played saxophone, and he used to go around and entertain during the Depression era, and he would talk a little bit about how that worked. And essentially, he had this group called Woody and the Boys, and they would go to a town, they would pitch a tent, and during the day, and then at night, it would just organically, people would just show up and the place would be packed, and they put on a show, kind of like a circus setup. Anyway, it was kind of interesting, and so they would kind of go around the country doing these entertainments. And so when my dad in the song refers to doing weekend gigs, that was the type of work that he did. What I found was interesting was that one of his rivals, one of the Woody and the Boys rivals, was Lawrence Welk. And most of the people on this forecast, I've looked at the age group of people are watching, probably know who Lawrence Welk is, but if you don't, it was a famous show back in the 60s and 70s that played him on a lot of music. But Lawrence Welk was one of his rivals, and from what I understand, although I have not found the episode yet, Lawrence Welk, I think one or two times, referenced a salute to Woody and the Boys because they were rivals. So that's kind of interesting background story on that one. I want to tell a little bit of a story on about my grandma. Now, when I was born, I was the oldest grandchild on my mother's side of the family, but on my father's side of the family, my grandma and granddad were there, and I was born, and my grandma is just crying her eyes out, and she's got these Kleenexes, and she's wiping her, and she's just kind of dropping Kleenexes as she's walking down the hallway, and apparently my granddad's right behind her picking up the Kleenexes. And finally the doctor says, you seem so happy. What, is this your first grandchild? I said, no. And she goes, no, this is my 27th grandchild. Anyway, I was the 27th of 33 grandchildren on my dad's side. But just kind of let you know how emotional she was. Now, apparently my grandma also was a singer, and before they had kids, was a singer in the band of Woody and the Boys. So that's a little bit of background. So anyway, I thought I'd share that. I really would invite you, if you have not, to go on Spotify. I'll provide the links here. Listen to the song. I'm going to be featuring On Jackson Street starting next week, which is the title song. It's the, as you can see here, the fourth song on Jackson Street. I'm going to start talking about that. next week. But I'm trying to get my Spotify numbers up for my dad, because if I can get a certain amount of plays on Spotify, I can start advertising and promoting the music to a larger group of folks. And as I mentioned, my sole goal, is to try to get my dad's music out to as much of the people who might enjoy his music as possible. So thanks for listening. I'll be back here in a few days to talk a little bit more about Up on Jackson Street. Also, to note, and by the way, I think I've mentioned it's been remastered. But a week from today, I'm going to be releasing the song "Under Your Wing," which was not available on any digital platforms. So I'm going to be releasing that next week. I'll be talking a little bit more about that song. Okay, thanks, and we'll talk to you later. Ciao.